Welcome to my channel, Sewing with Tay. I'm Fantasia from the Aya Emporium on Instagram and Facebook. Today's project, we're actually going to sew our circle skirt from my last video where we made the circle skirt pattern. So let's jump right into the details. Here you will see the tools you'll need: knit fabric, your pattern, scissors, pins, and your sewing machine. This is the pattern from our last video. I'll put the link in the description for you for that. So this here is knit rayon span jersey. It is very, very stretchy. After making this demo for you guys, I realized I probably should have made my measurements a little bit smaller, but we're just going to continue and we're going to work through it. So to make this circle skirt, we need to cut out a circle, meaning that there's not going to be any side seams. So I'm going to take my fabric that is already folded lengthwise, folded, then we're going to fold it again on top of itself. So we should have 4 layers. With this, it is really important that you get all those layers smooth. You don't want one of the middle layers to be bumped up or there to be bumps, or at that fold you kind of saw where I was tapping there. I'm going to put my hand in there and like push the fabric, because you want to make sure that both layers, all 4 layers, are folded together on the fold and neatly smoothed over. If you had a bigger table, it probably work a little bit easier for me. But see here, it's getting kind of smooth. You want to have all 4 layers. You want to make sure that everything's smooth. There's no bumps or lumps in there. Here's my pattern from the last video. And I did all of that and I realized I didn't fold over enough. So you see it's a little short here on the end. So I'm going to have to pick up my top layer and move it down some so that I have more length from that top fold to the edge of the fabric. I had just enough fabric here, so I probably should have just folded it all the way over, but I didn't have the hindsight to do that. So here I am readjusting the fabric. You got to smooth it out. See, there's some wrinkles here at the top. We got to get all of this stuff smooth, otherwise your circle is not going to come out right. So once you get everything smooth, there's a little twist there. You have to pull and make sure that all the fold is together. All the folds are together. On this, you're going to have a fold on my left side closest to where the rulers are, and then you're going to have 2 folds on the side that's closest to where my hands are. So once you get that, you see on the pattern fold and fold. So it's going to be folds on both sides of the pattern. You're going to start pinning, or you can trace this out. I like to use pins because I don't like to take the time to trace them and then cut them. So here I'm pinning. I'm going to pin down the sides because you want to make sure none of these layers shift or stretch while you are cutting them. So I'm going to go through pinning along the bottom edge. I'm going to pin along the waist edge just to make sure that everything is flat. My husband made that in-between music for me, so I hope y'all like it. The pattern already has seam allowance, so don't have to worry about adding anything here. Just gonna cut along the edge. I mistakenly grabbed my like kind of dull scissors, and I'm cutting through 4 layers of jersey, so they were getting a little snagged, and I tried to move it. Be careful not to do that because you saw the fabric start to pull, and you don't want your skirt to be uneven. So once you get it cut out, we're going to move on to the waistband, and my patterns are already done. So if you haven't watched that video yet, I will put it in my description so that you can go watch it. But for the waistband, you just need 1 layer of fabric on the fold. So I have 1 layer here. It's already on the fold. The fold is on my right side where my finger just tapped. I realized my pattern is not going the right direction. It doesn't really matter because it's a rectangle, but for the purposes of the video, I flipped it just to make sure it's on the right side for y'all. I went ahead and pinned my waistband to the fabric, and then I'm going to cut around, and now we're going to get to sewing. So here is my skirt cut out, and just to give you a little visual, there she is. This is such a really pretty color yellow. Now we're going to move on to the waistband, take our pins out. So we're going to start by sewing the waistband, or sewing the waistband together. So on the end that is not on the fold, we're going to have to sew those two together. I am using my serger for this project. If you do not have a serger, you can use a zigzag stitch on your machine. So you'll see me here. I'm putting those two layers together, and I'm going to head over to my serger to get them done. And because I went through the previous step kind of quickly, I'm just going to show you one last time. This is the waistband. You're going to sew down the side that's open. We're going to do like 3/8 because I'm using my serger. But if you're going to use a zigzag stitch, you can do like a 1/2 inch if that's a little easier for you. My serger was already set up. I have white thread on here, so I'm just going to keep using white thread. This skirt is just for a demo. I can't say that I might wear this with anything, although it did match my t-shirt when I realized when I finished sewing it. I'm like, oh, this actually goes really cute with my t-shirt. So maybe I'll have a reason to wear it because I have something to go with it. But really simple. Throw that stitch in there. And now we are going to get into a little bit more of the difficult part of making this waistband for your circle skirt. So here's your waistband. You want to fold it together with your seams aligned inside. I'm going to pin there, and then this is jersey fabric, so it rolls. You see how it's rolling down like this? That is terrible when you're trying to sew and it's rolling. So I err on the side of using more pins for this type of fabric to hold things in place, because you just don't want it rolling around and then you sew something and then there's a hole. So you'll see here, I'm going to try to roll them out and put the edges together. More specifically, I'm going to start center to center and then kind of pin in between, just to make sure all of these layers are connected, because you're going to attach these to your skirt, and what you don't want is the front of the waistband to be attached and the back of the waistband to not be attached, especially when using a serger, because then it becomes difficult to take the stitches out and try to make adjustments, etc., etc. So once you get all of your waistband pinned, we're going to lay it flat and try to get an idea of where the centers are. So we're going to do that by taking our side seam, putting it flat on one side, and then we're going to lay the waistband flat, just like this. And I'm going to put a pin again, specifically at the side seam, so that they are together and that it's marked. So this is more of a marking pin for me to know that this is my side seam. And then across from there, the exact fold on the opposite side, I'm going to clip a little angle so it makes a little V. So I know that that's the other side seam, since we did not put side seams on both sides. Now we're going to put the side seam and that mark together. So now we know where the center front and center back of the waistband is. So we're going to make a little clip there on the corner, and then make another little clip here, a little clip, a notch, whatever you want to call it, on this opposite corner. But you do want to make sure that your fabric is rolled up, that everything is together, and that you're getting all the pieces, and clip a little corner. So then we're going to have it a corner there, a little notch there, and then a little notch here. And this one, see, the back wasn't all the way down, so the clip isn't as clean. But now we're going to make those same marks on our skirt. So we're going to clip the side seams, and you could do this before you open the pattern. Before you open up your sample like I did, you can clip both sides and the center, and you can clip all four, spots at the same time. So what we're going to do here is put those two clips we just made together. So those would be, say, side seams. And now if you fold all the way to the other end, you have center front. And then we're going to clip all the way to the other side, and then that will be center back. Okay, once you have all four of your notches made on your skirt and on your waistband, you're going to start the process of attaching the waistband to the skirt by matching your notches. This is a little bit difficult because now you have 3 layers that you're trying to attach, and they all kind of roll around, so you have to make sure you get all of the pieces. So I just picked a random notch. It doesn't matter because the skirt doesn't have side seams. It's a complete circle. So you're going to take that notch and line it with the other notch, so you will have a little V there, and then you're going to put a pin. I put 2 pins just to be careful, just to be sure, and then you're going to move on to the next notch, just like that, and I'm going to line them up, and then I'm going to put a pin there, 2 pins, just to be sure. So you're going to go around and you're going to do this to all 4 notches. Once you get all these done, then we're going to work on pinning the in between, which takes a little bit more work. But those two pins is really important in my opinion because it stops your pins from kind of falling out when you have to stretch in between to pin the rest, which we will have to do. Um, that's the way to get a good fit and to make sure that your waistband will stay anchored on your body. Now for the in between areas. So you see my two pins here, and then I have two pins on the other side, and you have this gap. So you have to stretch them to get them to meet. So what I do is I put my hand down on one side and I pull on the other side and I grab a section in the middle and then I put a pin there. So make sure that when it stretches that they are kind of even. When you're doing this, you need to make sure that the edges are all together. So there's no edges rolled underneath or like not meeting the edge. All of your edges need to be aligned. So when you stretch it, they tend to curl more. So that's why you have to be kind of diligent with making sure that all of your edges is together. And you're basically just going to repeat this process for your entire skirt. So you see them two pins, we're going to stretch it, kind of grab the center and pop a pin in there. And you're going to do that all the way around. Once your skirt is all pinned, we're going to head over to the serger or your sewing machine, and we're just going to serge all the layers together. If you're using your sewing machine, you're going to zigzag all of your layers together. With the serger, you cannot sew over pins, so you have to remove them as you sew along. I would ensure you stretch, and you see here, making sure all the layers are together because my knife on my serger has been being a little funny acting, so I have to make sure that everything is being caught into it and I'm not putting too much through the cutter or through the knife area. So you'll have to pull a little bit to make sure that it is being stretched and all the pieces are together. This is the kind of joining part. For the skirt, you don't really have to do anything else outside of hem it. And I'm actually not going to hem this skirt. If you want me to make a video about hemming it, leave me a comment in the description. Leave me a comment in the comment section and we'll do another video for hemming this because this is a knit fabric and I prefer to use a cover stitch machine. That's a totally different machine and a different process. So we can talk through that if you want to. So again, you're just going to keep sewing. You're going to sew all the way around your skirt and remove the pins, attaching the waistband to the actual skirt. And that's it. Clip your threads and here is your skirt. It is super cute, super easy. It's a super easy skirt for summer that can be made in any length. Thank y'all so much for watching. Please follow me on Instagram and Facebook at the Aya Emporium or visit me on my website, theayaemporium.com. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button so you know when I'm making new videos. Bye.